All right, let's get into it. We're not just looking at a rock guitarist's gear list here. No, we are diving deep into the mind of a true sonic architect, the one and only SUGIZO, from Lunacia and Japan.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll look at 5 key areas to really understand how he builds those absolutely iconic layered soundscapes of his.
And this quote right here, this is the key to everything. He said this in an interview with Barks, and it tells you all you need to know. It's not about collecting cool gear, it's about finding the right voice for the song. That single idea drives every single choice he makes.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning with the foundation of his sound, his core tone, because how he gets that has changed a lot. It's really a story of moving from raw power to incredible nuance.
Back in the 90s, his sound was built for that aggressive rock style. We're talking thick, high-output humbuckers and Floyd Rose locking tremolos for all those dive bombs. But today, it's a totally different beast. He's intentionally moved to a much more expressive setup, with synchronized tremolos and the beautiful, clear bite of P90 single coils.
And check this out. This wasn't some random change. It was a conscious decision, inspired by an absolute legend, Jeff Beck. He saw how Beck used the tremolo arm not just for effects, but to subtly control his tuning on the fly. It's about making the guitar a true extension of your body.
And you can totally see this philosophy in his main guitars today. You've got his signature navigators, a beautiful vintage 61 Gibson ES330, his newest ESP Eclipse, and what do they have in common? They mostly lean into that P90 clarity and the expressive feel of a synchronized trem. Each one is a specific tool for a specific job.
So we've got the core tone down. Now let's get to the next layer, because this is where he stops being just a guitarist and truly becomes an architect. We're talking about how he uses effects to build entire worlds.
Everything has to start somewhere, right? So take a simple, dry musical phrase. You might recognize this one. It's that iconic line from the Lunacia song In Silence. It's great just like this, for sure, but it's really just the blueprint.
And then, through his process, that simple little riff completely transforms into the shimmering, massive, atmospheric soundscape that really defines the entire track. So the big question is, how in the world does he do that?
Well, it's a very deliberate 3-step build. You start with that clean riff. Then, step 2, he brings in his famous TC Electronic 2290 delay to create those clean, rhythmic echoes. And, for the final step, he blends in a huge, high-quality reverb, something like a Strymon Big Sky. See, delay and reverb aren't just effects for him. They're architectural tools. He's literally building a space with sound.
But SUGIZO's sound isn't just about making things sound beautiful and spacious. Oh no, it can get strange, unpredictable, jarring, and sometimes just wonderfully chaotic. So let's look at the secret weapons he uses to create these wild textures.
You know those sounds, right? Those moments in a solos where you kind of tilt your head and go, wait, is that even a guitar? Where do those bizarre, almost robotic, alien-like noises come from?
A lot of the time, the answer is a ring modulator. He even has his own signature model, the Freethetone RM1S. Now, this isn't a distortion pedal. Think of it more like a synth effect. It literally creates its own electronic tone and smashes it together with your guitar signal. The result is these wild, metallic, non-harmonic sounds that follow the notes you're playing. It's like adding a weird robot harmony. And he doesn't stop there, of course. He combines that with other absolute beasts of pedals. The Digitech Whammy is a classic for him, giving him those screaming, radical pitch shifts. And then he's got a whole range of fuzz pedals, from a vintage-style full-tone 69 to the absolutely insane Devi Ever Shoegazer, which is just pure chaos in a box. It's a palette of sound that lets him paint with some really extreme colors. Okay, so you've got the nuanced core tone, the vast atmospheric spaces, and the crazy experimental textures. How on earth do you manage all of that live? Well, the final piece of the puzzle is understanding that this is not just a pile of pedals. It's a massive, fully integrated system. Seriously, his sound is born in a command center. On stage, he's got pedal boards for both his guitar and his violin. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. Backstage, his guitar tech is managing these huge racks of gear and a whole other set of effects, all working together perfectly. It's a complex ecosystem. And get this, he uses multiple amps at the same time, but not just for channel switching. Each amp has a specific job. He'll use something like an EVH 51503 for his main high-gain punch. Then he blends in a divided by 13 amp just to add body and clarity. But the craziest part, he has a completely separate power amp and speaker cabinet just for his wet effects, the delay and reverb. That way, those beautiful spatial sounds stay totally clean and never make his core guitar tone muddy. It's genius.
And if you need any more proof about his priorities, just look at this breakdown of his effects. A massive 40% of his arsenal is dedicated just to spatial effects, delay, and reverb. That tells you right there that his primary focus is on creating atmosphere, dimension, and a huge sense of space.
So when you look at all this, for SUGIZO, it's clear that gear is way more than just a tool. It's a philosophy. It's a total architectural approach to sound. And it's a great reminder that the goal isn't always just to play notes, but to build entire worlds. His whole system is designed to serve the music, first and foremost. So that kind of makes you think, right? What does your gear say about your philosophy?